If there's anything we know of Antarctica, it's the fact that it's shrouded in mystery. This is partly due to its harsh conditions, freezing temperatures, and barren landscapes. And despite Antarctica's inhospitable nature, scientists have discovered that many underground lakes lie beneath its thick layers of ice. So join us as we have a look at how Russian scientists detail that they've encountered something huge deep within this lake in Antarctica. Lake Vostok was discovered in the 1990s, and it's said to be the largest subglacial lake in Antarctica, out of 450 subglacial lakes, and the third largest lake in the world. It lies 3.5 kilometers below the ice, and the lake's environment is believed to be saturated with nitrogen and oxygen. This makes it of particular interest to exobiologists and astrobiologists. In search of possible life in the lake, Russian scientists had to drill deep holes into the ice to extract samples of the lake water. One sample would reveal that the water was around -3 degrees Celsius, despite being covered by ice for over 20 million years. According to Russian newswire RIA Novosti, the scientists drilled through 3,769 meters of ice above Lake Vostok for 30 years to reach the surface of the lake on the 5th of February 2012. This is after the nation had to wait several years to get international approval for its drilling technology before proceeding with the lake drilling process. Also, the team had to wait until the summer to conduct the research at the lake. Notwithstanding, the eventual success was a significant feat that scientists worldwide had anticipated. Valery Lukin, the head of Russia's Arctic and Antarctic Research Institute, likened the feat to America's success in landing the first man on the moon, thus putting it at the forefront of the space race in 1969. This statement made other scientists, especially American and British teams, drill smaller subglacial Antarctic lakes. Lake Vostok is 250 kilometers long and 50 kilometers wide and is protected by a crust of ice over 2 miles thick, and keeps in heat generated by geothermal energy underneath. Lukin expects the lake to contain chemotroph bacteria that feed on chemical reactions in pitch-black darkness. But he was wrong. He acknowledged that the bacteria follows a distinct law of evolution that is yet to be understood by anyone. However, there was a particular technological concern with the drilling method used by the Russian scientists. It would be reported that the team isn't using clean technology in the upper part of the borehole, and bringing up the ice samples could contaminate them. Temperatures on the Vostok station on the surface above the lake reached its record of -128 degrees Fahrenheit, the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth. This condition was aggravated by its high elevation, which is more than 11,000 feet above sea level. The Russian scientists' drilling method involved using over 60 tons of lubricants and antifreeze, which others feared may contaminate the lake's pristine waters. Allaying this fear, Bell assured that the Russian team was making all the necessary efforts to do it in a way that avoids contamination. According to Professor James White from the University of Colorado Geological Sciences, lake water under pressure rushes up the borehole, pushes the drilling fluid up and away, and then freezes, forming a protective plug that prevents contamination of the lake. While the feat at Lake Vostok was undoubtedly intriguing, it's nothing compared to the creepy creature the drilling team discovered. One may be forced to ask if the story has any credibility. A leaked report revealed that the Russian drilling crew came into contact with a bizarre and deadly life form. And while it may sound like some imaginary creatures from science fiction films, let's see if it is actually true. Lake Vostok had been completely separated from the rest of the world for nearly 15 million years, and over that period there have been some fanciful tales about the possibility of some forms of life existing in the lake. This left scientists wondering if a thriving ecosystem could exist under the conditions in the concealed lake, but what life could be found in its icy depths. In the past decades, scientists have detected the presence of bacteria and other single-celled organisms living in conditions that other life forms would ordinarily struggle to survive. These conditions include darkness, extreme temperatures, and salinity. This knowledge propelled Russian scientists to want to take water samples to examine creatures that have lived in the frigid waters for millions of years, following an evolutionary path distinct from the one on planet Earth. In 2007, one of the scientists told National Geographic News that he had found evidence that microbes could survive in the subglacial lake by deriving energy from minerals generated from eating rocks. Similarly, Sergei Bulat of the St. Petersburg Nuclear Physics Institute revealed that some unknown microbes were found in the lake after separating species of known bacteria in the drilling fluid that was used. The Russian scientists were reported to have battled some evil alien monster from the depths. The creepy creature was given the name Organism 46b. Organism 46b is described as a 33-foot-long supercephalopod similar to a glass octopus. It possesses features and abilities that are shocking. It's roughly the size of a colossal squid with 14 arms, unlike an octopus with 8 arms. The 14-arm octopus is also said to possess abilities found in several other species in the cephalopod class. Each arm of the creature is covered with powerful suckers that can be used to smell, taste, track, and grasp its prey. The creature also has neurons distributed throughout its body. The neurons also act as a brain that can control other parts of the body. For instance, its arms continue moving and acting even after being cut off from the main body. In addition to this, the creature also contains some very special traits that allow it to change color and control the texture of its skin, respectively. Apart from these, Organism 46b can contort its boneless body into other shapes and also imitate numerous aquatic creatures, which includes taking the form of a human diver. It uses its chromatophores to create hypnotic patterns by putting its prey into a trance-like state before killing it and consuming it. Now, its most frightening ability is to paralyze its prey from up to 150 feet away. A more bizarre thought is the ability of a severed tentacle to grow back into a full creature. One of the 8-person team would be sent to explore life forms in Lake Vostok, Dr. Anton Podolka, who would reveal that they still needed to set up camp on an ice shelf near the shore of the lake and begin the initial dives that they then discovered the creature. Not knowing whether the creature might be dangerous, they swam towards it so it could be observed closely. Suddenly, the creature released paralytic venom throughout the water with an organ similar to its ink sacs. And it also hypnotized one of the scientists who also doubled as the team's radio operator. The victim smiled as the creature dismembered him before popping his remains into its mouth. It was a gory sight for the rest of the team as they watched their colleague being murdered helplessly. The team thought the creature probably hypnotized the victim telepathically. During the attack, the creature disabled the radio, preventing researchers from getting in touch with the outside world. Later, the remaining team would notice an image swimming towards them in scuba gear. They thought that it was one of the team until the image suddenly grabbed one of their marine biologists closest to the creature. And it was then that they realized the image was Organism 46b, the diabolical creature as described by Dr. Podolka. The creature tore the man apart and then consumed him with its beak. And this event made the team realize that the species was as intelligent as the average human. It had purposely disabled their radio so they couldn't call for help, and also adapted each time that the team changed their tactics. Realizing this, the expedition chief A.M. Yeligan decided that they would need to capture the creature using a specimen tank, but they would need bait. Dr. Marta Kalashnik, a former professional athlete, was chosen for the task. She was believed to be the most agile swimmer, able to defend herself against a possible attack from the creature. They laid a trap that successfully caught the beast. However, one of its arms managed to grasp Dr. Kalashnik. She severed the arm of the creature with an axe, but the severed limb pulled the axe away from her, and they returned to camp with the joy of having successfully trapped the creature. However, the tentacle hit back at the team while they were asleep. It slithered onto the icy bank to reach Dr. Kalashnik, strangling her to death. The remaining scientists returned home with their prize, the captured creature, hoping to get international honors for their feat. However, the Russian military seized the creature upon the orders of Vladimir Putin and hatched a plan to weaponize the venom and, if possible, the creature as well. Learning about this, the program's director then raised the alarm for the world. In his exact words, "Some species of octopus lay 200,000 eggs. Imagine if they were deposited into reservoirs and lakes across North America." Although the story of the drilling of Lake Vostok was real, there are several punctures, or what could be described as inconsistencies, in the Organism 46b tale that makes it more likely to be a fantasy. For instance, it was confirmed that the drilling team had reached the water level through a core sample hole that was drilled only a few inches in diameter into the lake. Such an opening is much too small to accommodate a person, let alone a tank that could hold a 33-foot-long aquatic creature. Also, when the drill broke through, increased pressure caused water to shoot upwards, thus filling the hole. It was subsequently capped so the samples contained from the lake would not be contaminated. Besides the account that would be given by Dr. Podolka, research reveals that the lake has a shore just below the ice where the scientists had camped. This might be possible, considering the pressure caused by the ice and the absence of light in such depths. In Podolka's description of his team as scuba divers, we might be forced to question the account based on the tremendous amount of pressure on which the waters of Lake Vostok are, an equivalent of 355 bar, which is 355 times the pressure of the atmosphere at the surface's sea level. The deepest scuba diver ever only went about 1,000 feet at a pressure of roughly 32 bar. Another point to be raised as regards to the survival of the team in the lake is the lack of mention of special equipment such as an atmospheric diving suit or something else to deal with the pressure of the lake. The only diving equipment mentioned is a low-temperature wetsuit, which could actually be a dry suit that keeps divers dry. There's no mention of the use of exotic gas mixes used by technical divers at its depth. When under pressure, oxygen becomes toxic unless mixed with other gases such as helium. A team exploring an environment under harsh circumstances, such as Lake Vostok, requires this sort of mix unless the location described in the story is more of a speculative realm than the real Lake Vostok. In this case, the toxin could not have affected the first casualty. This is because the only way the team could have survived at such pressures in the depths would be within a pressurized vessel or suit, and there was no mention of the use of that. The ultimate point is that Dr. Podolka has proven to be an invisible being, as no one has been able to locate him. This might be because he's in hiding. Besides, the account is only known from some vague sources, or he's just a fictitious character that was created by a talented storyteller. Nevertheless, whether the tale of the creature is true or false, the good news is no monsters would creep out of the depths of Antarctica to attack us anytime soon. However, the question remains whether Organism 46b is a hoax from the nightmares of a sailor or a true tale of a massive octopus. What do you think about this? Let us know all about it in the comments section down below.